The day has finally arrived after months and months of illness and surgeries. You're finally starting to heal. Your ostomy, you've got it under control. You're used to changing your bag and you never have leaks anymore. And you think, you know what? I've got some energy now. Maybe you have a little bit more libido than you did. I'm ready to go out and meet people. I'm ready. But what do I do once I get there? Maybe it's been years since you've even been single or out on the scene. Maybe you were in a relationship for years that ended recently. Maybe it even ended while you were going through your healing journey after your ostomy surgery, like it did for me. It can be very scary and daunting to get out and meet people when it's been a long time and you're out of practice and you don't know what to say or how to approach people. The world may have even changed since the last time you were single and out trying to meet people. So you might not know what is the etiquette these days. Can I approach someone or is that a no-no? So today I'm going to break down all my secrets of how I attract strangers when I'm out in public without any fear. And I'm an expert at this. It's a curse and a blessing. And I'm going to share with you my techniques. So welcome back to Intimacy After Ostomy podcast. I'm your host, Trina Ricketts, the Intimate Ostomate. And today we're going to talk about how to attract strangers without fear. So I faced a very similar situation, if not this exact situation myself, after my permanent ostomy surgery. I had been in a long-term relationship that lasted about 9 years. And about 9 months after my ostomy surgery, that relationship came to an end. So I was still healing at that point. 9 months after a surgery, it sounds like a long time to a lot of people, but a major surgery like that, and I also had rectum removal, so there were a lot of things going on with my surgery. 9 months isn't actually that long if you understand how intense and crazy this surgery is. At 9 months, I wasn't ready to start dating. At 9 months after my surgery, one, because I just got out of a relationship, and two, because I wasn't fully healed. It was a very stressful situation. I had to move out of the city that I was living in because in 9 years, rent became a lot less affordable for someone with my income. So I couldn't afford to rent a place with enough bedrooms for my children in the same area that I'd been living before. So I actually had to move out of town to another city and move my child to another school, and she had to make new friends and everything else. And it was so stressful. And the last thing I was thinking about at that point was meeting people or dating. I hadn't even tried to have physical intimacy at that point yet because I knew that it was still too painful to try that. Well, I guess I should say I tried, but didn't get very far because it was too painful. So I was not even thinking about dating when I moved to the new city. But time went by, I healed, I started to feel better. My daughter started to thrive in her new school, and I got over my heartache and my heartbreak from the end of my long-term relationship, and I started to think, I want to start dating. I wasn't looking for a boyfriend. I certainly didn't want to cohabitate with someone again. I gave myself some parameters, like I'm going to wait till my daughter's done high school before I even think about having a serious relationship with someone again. But I want to be open to meeting people, male, female. I want to make some friends. I want to get out. I want to go dancing. And I didn't know how or who I was going to do all of this with. So I'm going to tell you what steps I took and why it was so easy for me to figure this out. So first of all, the reason it was so easy for me to figure this out was because I used to be an exotic dancer, a stripper. I would walk around the club and smile and talk to strangers all the time. And I became so comfortable with it that in public, I could just talk to strangers, no problem. And this was just the way I was. It became a normal part of who I was. So I had a little bit of an advantage on people who this is not their usual way of communicating. And that's why I think that if I teach you how I do it, that it'll be a lot easier for you. So we're going to break everything down right now about how you can become more attractive and attract people to you when you're out in public. And number one, I'm going to start with the most obvious thing, and that's your appearance. Now, you may think, I'm not very attractive. If you have a low opinion of your attraction level, you might think, I'm beautiful, but I'm not very good at talking. I don't know what your situation is, but I'm just going to give you some hints about appearance. And one of them is you don't have to be really physically attractive in your features to look good and attract people. It really is just about giving yourself a polished look. And the way you give a polished look and the way that you look attractive to people is, first of all, you want to wear clothes that fit you, that flatter you. They don't have holes in them. They're not stained. They're not ripped. That will give you a polished appearance, your clothing. Second, you want to have good posture. No. When you stand tall, that is attractive. It is way more attractive than slouching. Hey guys. Hey guys. So I highly recommend that you practice standing tall every chance that you get so that you can get used to looking more attractive. And it's better for your body and it gives you confidence. Studies have shown that by standing up with good posture, we actually release hormones that make us feel more confident. So definitely work on that posture. Now, another really important thing is grooming. I've mentioned this in other podcast episodes before. Making sure your hair is groomed, your facial hair is groomed if you have facial hair. Your hair is clean, it doesn't look greasy or too frizzy. Make sure that you show that you care about your appearance and that you've made an effort. If you're a woman, you could have your nails done. That gives you a polished appearance. So think about these things and then when you're picking your clothes, make sure they match. Make sure you're not clashing with too many different patterns or colors or whatever it is. These are just ways to help with your appearance to make sure that when you go out, people look at you and think, that's an attractive human being. And like I said, even if you don't feel that you have attractive facial features, having good posture and nice clothes is all you need a lot of the time. Another thing that's really important with your appearance is how you engage with people in your body language. Thing that I always do, and it's like my secret superpower. I make eye contact and I smile. Making eye contact shows that you're not intimidated by people, and smiling shows that you are a happy, good energy person. Eye contact and smiling are two very magnetically attractive body language behaviors that I highly recommend that you engage in. And you know what's really cool about smiling at people is sometimes they'll smile back. And another cool thing about smiling is that when we smile, it tells our brain we're happy and we just start to feel happier. It's kind of like the posture thing. I mean, what could be simpler than that? I want to feel confident, I'll stand tall. I want to be happy, I'll smile. Give it a try. You might be surprised at the results. Now, appearance is all kind of covered. As long as you are polished and you appear confident by having good posture and eye contact and smiling, you got that dialed in. Now we have to think about what's your energy like? Now, if you're smiling at everyone, you're already on the way to giving really good energy. And energy is so important. It is what we emit when we walk into a room. If you walk into a room and you're looking polished and you have good energy, then you're going to maximize that attraction that people have to you. So this is something invisible. They can't even see it, but you can create it with your energy. And I'm going to tell you exactly how. But before I tell you how to really control your energy, I just want to touch on a couple things about energy. And one of them is hierarchy. You know, when you go out and you see someone and you kind of just put yourself in the hierarchy of that person, you might see that they have a really nice car. So you'll think, oh, wow, that person is better than me. They have that really nice car. Or they might have a beater of a car and you're like, oh, I'm better than that person. At least I have a better car than them. So this is what I'm talking about when I say hierarchy. And often, without even realizing it, we do that. We put ourselves in a hierarchy with other people. So part of keeping your energy really good is deconstructing that hierarchy that we're used to having with other people. Don't see other people as better than you or lesser than you. See everyone as equal. It doesn't matter what kind of car you drive. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have, how hot your partner is we're talking about single people in this podcast episode, but it doesn't matter anything that you have in your life. That doesn't matter, doesn't make you more equal or less equal. We're all born equal. Okay. So keep that in your mind. And when you walk up to someone and you're feeling intimidated, remind yourself, I'm equal to this person. And when you walk up to someone and you're looking down on them, remind yourself, I'm equal to this person. This will transform how you engage with people because you'll stop shrinking away when you feel like you don't have a right because you're lesser than them, and you'll stop giving off kind of a I'm too good for you energy when you're around people that you look down on. Now you're going to see everyone as equal. I'm equal, you're equal, we're all equal. It just transforms your energy. It's going to make people really want to get to know you because they feel safe and comfortable with you. They don't feel like you're putting on an act or trying to make them feel bad or trying to suck up to them or anything else because you're all equal. So, as often as you possibly can, whenever you feel the urge to say sorry, ask yourself if you can say thank you. I also don't want you to apologize for existing. And when I say this, what I mean is I don't want you to walk around feeling like you need to be meek or timid and ask for permission for every little thing you say or do. You need to be bold, you need to be brave, and you need to understand that you have a right to exist. You have a right to go out and meet people, and you have a right to be friendly and engaging. So don't be meek, don't draw into yourself, don't worry about what everyone's thinking about you. That's part of the hierarchy thing. You do not need to apologize for existing because you are a worthy human being just by being birthed, just by being born, I should say. You you were born equal and worthy. And the only thing that would make you unworthy now is if you're a shitty person. So ask yourself, am I a shitty person? Do I do shitty things to people? And if so, then you've got some self-work to do, for sure. I mean, we all have self-work to do, but the shitty people have the most. But if you're a good person and you don't hurt anyone intentionally ever, then you don't deserve for anyone to abuse you or treat you like a lesser human being or act like they're better than you or any kind of behavior that makes you feel small. You don't deserve it if you're a good person. So you need to realize that and not apologize for existing and be brave against bullies that you might come across when you're out and about. Also, a big, huge part of having good energy and attracting people with your energy is being non-judgmental. And this, again, could go back to the whole hierarchy thing, not putting yourself in a hierarchy, but it could be really anything about judging. When you see someone that's doing something or behaving in a way that you don't agree with, as long as it doesn't hurt you or anyone else and it's only their own problem, let it go. Try to be as compassionate and understanding as you can about other people's opinions, views, lifestyle. They've made the decisions that they've made based on their experiences and what they've learned in their lives. They are exactly where they're supposed to be based on what decisions they've made and the kind of lives that they've lived. And we have to accept that and respect that we can't make people be like us or make them be the way we want them to be. So try really hard not to judge other people, but just to accept them for exactly how they are. And you're out and you're about and you see people that you're like, I definitely would never be friends with that person, but I'm not going to judge them. And you might even end up being friends with them. It's happened to me. I'm serious. Definitely make sure that you're not being judgmental, you're not putting yourself in a hierarchy, and you're not apologizing for existing. Now, here is how I push energy out. We really are made of energy. We really can push our energy out. You know, when you meet someone and you just feel energized by them, energized being in their presence, those are people who have good energy. They are giving off good energy. And you're going to become one of those people if you do what I say. So, what I want you to do is imagine that there's this bright light, a ball of shimmering, shining energy inside your heart where all your love resides. And I want you to imagine that big, bright light of love growing bigger and bigger and bigger until your whole body is just a glowing, bright light, but really bright right here in the heart chakra. And then I want you to imagine that light spreading out so that it's like shining on everyone around you and anyone you walk past and anyone you drive past and anywhere you go, they're getting touched by your invisible shining light energy. Okay, so you're pushing out, and that energy is made of love. So you're pushing out the love energy. And you can't help but smile when you're pushing out love energy. So this will help you with smiling at people. Because when you're like walking around pushing love at people, you can't help but want to be like, hello, how are you today? You just have love for everybody and you just want to give it to them, but you don't want to be weird. So you don't say, I'm shining my love energy light on you. You just put it out there and you just say hi if you want, make some conversation. We'll get to that next. But mostly it's about just letting your light shine from within and touching the people who come across you in your day-to-day life. People you talk to, people you pass in the aisle of the grocery store, your family, whoever you come, you have an argument with your landlord. Well, today, when he stops by and knocks on your door unexpectedly, you're going to bathe him in love energy light just for today, just so you can see how powerful it is. Now, that is already just a huge shift for you in your energy that will attract people. But the way to close that energy gap between you and others is now you're going to see the bright, shiny light inside of them. So you're a bright, shiny light, and everywhere you look, there's bright, shining lights inside of every person you see. Some of their lights are more dimmed. They're walking around grumpy. Some of them are really bright and you can see they're doing what you're trying to do. But everybody has that love energy light inside of them. And when your love energy lights collide, it's a beautiful thing. That's going to attract people to you with your energy. Okay, now we're going to talk about conversation starters. And there's passing conversations where you're buying your groceries and you tell the cashier, wow, I really love that brooch you're wearing. Or did you dye your hair? It looks so good. Now, this isn't going to turn into a long conversation because she's got work to do or you're in a hurry or whatever. Passing conversations, just little passing conversations, you don't have to feel insecure about them because you can just do them quite naturally. So you can make observations, small talk about the weather. What a beautiful day it is, hey? Or can you believe it's raining again? Oh, but you want to make sure that whatever you say, you're still keeping it positive. Don't be like, oh, can you believe it's raining again? I hate this rain. You have to be like, oh, it's raining again. Oh, well, because you want to put off good, happy, positive energy. Negative energy is repulsive. It repels people. Positive, good energy, it brings them to you. So if you are the type of person that complains a lot or cries a lot or is always in crisis and you wonder why no one's there for you, it's probably because your energy is so toxic that it actually hurts people to be there for you. And it's going to be hard for them to be there for you when they need to be there for themselves because they're in pain from being in your energy field. So it's really important to make sure that you're not sucking the energy out of other people with your bad attitude and have a good attitude instead. And sometimes all you need to do is fake it. Maybe you're not having a great day. Maybe one thing after another keeps going wrong. If you focus on that and you think about how shitty everything is, you're going to be putting off horrible energy. But if you just go, oh, something happened again. Oh, something happened again, and just keep going on with your day, then you won't let it bring you down and you won't drag other people down and you'll be able to give out that good energy. So definitely when you're talking, that matters as well. You want to make comments in passing that are good energy. And also if you start a conversation with someone, I highly recommend that the conversation is not started based on something you're complaining about. Now, this can even happen if you're talking to someone, say you meet someone and you both have the same political beliefs, and you both want to complain about the other political party that you both hate. And this might be a great way to bond, right? Wrong. What can happen in this situation is you might go overboard, get too angry, or say something that is just not very attractive to the other person. Even if they agree with you, they might think you're going overboard. You might not even be going overboard, but they're just getting this impression because they're getting the negative energy coming out of you. I really want to recommend that if you're trying to attract someone, then you stick with the positive energy. So in that case, you meet someone, you both believe in the same kind of politics, and you say, wow, this is great. I'm so glad to meet someone who really gets what I, am seeing that's going on. And keep it happy and positive. And if they go off on a negative spin, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's not a really fun feeling to be around someone that's just devolving into negative criticisms and anger. It's just really not fun. And we want to have fun, don't we, when we go out and meet people? So now we're going to get into conversation starters. These are actually starting conversations with people. That's scary, right? Well, it doesn't have to be scary. So I'm going to give you three conversation starters. Well, really two, because one of them is the same conversation starter, but it depends on whether you've lived there your whole life or for a long time, or whether you're new to the area. So these are just examples, and you can come up with your own that are similar. The first example I'm going to give you is to start a conversation by starting off with the words, "I couldn't help noticing." And then you say what you noticed, and then you follow up with a question about it. So I couldn't help noticing your butterfly tattoo. Does it have a special meaning, or do you just love butterflies? So this can start a pretty interesting conversation, because now you're going to find out if they just like butterflies or if there's some meaning to it. And then they might start talking about, well, this one means this and this one means that. And it might create a conversation. Now, if there's already a mutual attraction, then there's a good chance that a conversation will start up. And even if there's not, some people are just friendly and they'll converse with you. Sometimes people won't, but we'll get to that after this. The next way to start a conversation is, "Hi, my name is Trina. Are you from around here? I was just wondering because I haven't seen you here before." And that's, you've lived here your whole life, you go to Starbucks every day, and now you've just seen someone that you've never seen there before. It's a great conversation opener, because then they can be like, "Well, actually, I just moved to the area." Or, "You know what? I've lived here my whole life, and we must have just been coming to the Starbucks at different times." These are conversations that could keep going if you're like, "Oh, really? That's hilarious. I can't believe that I've never seen you here, and we've both lived here for so long." Now, if you haven't lived and you're new, it'd be like, "Hi, my name's Trina. I'm new to this area. Could you tell me if there's any really good bookstores or coffee shops that you recommend?" Pick something that you actually are interested in, not just bookstores or coffee shops if you don't drink coffee and you don't read books. Because obviously, if you're going to start a conversation with someone, you want it to be about something that you can talk about. If she's like, "Oh, yeah, there's an amazing bookstore. Do you love reading too? Oh, yeah. What have you read lately?" Um, so you don't want to be caught like that. So pick something you like. Is there a really cool game store around here? Maybe you like to hunt. Do you know if there's any gun shops in the city? Ooh, I have no idea, because I never have anything to do with guns. Oh, really? Oh, well, I like hunting, and it's a great way to feed my parents. They love the meat I bring back. Do you eat meat? Oh, no, I'm a vegan. So you're starting to find out that maybe you could get along and have a conversation with this person, but maybe you wouldn't be compatible in dating. So these are just conversation starters. You can get to know a person through, see how they react, see how they respond. And it's very low pressure, because you're not like, "Hi, I'm Trina, and you are very attractive. And I was wondering if you're married or if you'd like to go on a date sometime." That's pretty scary. That is a scary thing to just walk up to a stranger and say, "I noticed that you're really handsome and I would like to get to know you better," right? As a woman, that happens to me a lot. And I'm sure that a lot of viewers that have had that happen to them before, where someone just walks up and asks you out or says, "Can I have your phone number?" And you just met this person. And normally I am not going to go out on a date or give my phone number to someone I just met. So that might not be the best strategy for meeting someone. You want to strike up a conversation first, so there's no pressure. And then you get to know them a little bit. So you find out if there's even some compatibility, right? So if we're going to go back quickly and go back to how we're going to start with a polished appearance, really good energy, no hierarchy, uh, passing comments and conversation starters that are positive with no pressure and no attachment to the outcome. Because when you're like scared, like, "Oh, what if I say the wrong thing? They'll walk away," or "What if this person is married and I should not have talked to them?" If you're focusing on the outcome or the what ifs or the maybes, then you've already lost the battle. If there's no pressure, you're not going to base starting the rest of your life with this person on just your first encounter. You're not desperate. You're not looking for someone to please, please date me. That's bad energy. Do not put desperate energy out there at all. Okay. You have to detach from the outcome. And being detached actually makes you more attractive, because people will sense that you don't need someone, and that if you were dating them, you would only be dating them because you want to. Now, we all would rather someone dates us because they want to date us, not because they can't stand the thought of being alone. And we're the first person who's showed interest. That's not very flattering. No, you don't want that desperate energy because, first of all, it means that you still need to work on yourself and love yourself better. Therefore, you won't be desperate anymore. And second of all, it's just the kind of energy that pushes people away. And you'll see it in other people. Start to watch for it. People who appear desperate. It's not an attractive energy to put out. So you don't want to do that. You want to be detached. You want to be like, if I say hello to this person and they don't even say hi back, I'm going to be fine. If I start a conversation with this person and they just walk away in the middle of it, I'm going to be fine. If this person says to me, leave me the F alone, stranger, I'm going to be fine. If I smile at someone and they scowl back at me, I'm going to be fine. So here's the thing. People are not going to react or respond the way we want them to. A lot of the time, they won't. First of all, people aren't used to strangers talking to them because we're in this world now where people don't talk to each other. And it sucks. So let's change that, okay? So first, people are going to be surprised. They're not going to know how to react. And so they may not respond immediately. They might even walk away and think, oh, I should have said this. So forgive them. Forgive them if they don't react, don't respond, or just keep walking because they were probably just surprised, didn't expect it, and never or haven't in a long time been faced with a situation where someone talked to them and they had to react. And it happens to me all the time because I smile at everyone walking down the street, smiling at people, and I don't get very many smiles back because they don't have time. We pass each other too fast. And by the time it registers to their brain that they should have smiled at me, I'm already gone. So I'm not going to feel bad that they didn't smile back. They were thinking about whatever. They weren't expecting someone to make eye contact and smile, whatever it is. It's it's not a big deal. So you got to detach from the reaction or the outcome. If somebody, and this can happen these days, especially with men, and it breaks my heart, but men are expected to be the go-getter, the one that makes the first move, the one that comes on to the women. And yet a lot of women these days are really rude and ignorant to men when they try to approach them or introduce themselves. And that makes a lot of men scared to do it. And that just makes me so sad. So if you're a man or a woman and you're faced with the type of person that lashes out at you simply because you are approaching them respectfully. I mean, if you're going up to a girl and you're like, hey, baby, really like to get into that, well, expect her to be like, FO, bud. But if you're just like, hey, how's it going? You look like you're having fun. Where are you guys going? You see, a group of girls or a group of guys, and you think, you guys look like you're having fun. Where are you going? Where's the party? That kind of thing. You don't deserve to be abused, verbally abused, or abused in any way just for being friendly or approaching people. If we never approached anyone, we would never meet anyone. So let's forgive ourselves if someone else is offended by something we unintentionally did. So if someone is offended by our behavior, even though we didn't intend to be offensive and our behavior was respectful, then we need to just realize that that's that person's shit. Okay. And those are the kind of people that you don't want to be friends with. If they're going to lash out at a stranger simply for respectfully saying something to them, they're toxic. You don't need that. You don't want it. You dodged a bullet. Smile and keep on going. Have a nice day. And that's the best way to do it. You want to let go of the outcome and you really want to just send a blessing to them. If you believe in God, like I do, you can send like a blessing like, God, I please bless this person. They're obviously struggling mentally. Or whatever it is. Or if you don't believe in God, you can just send them a little love energy and just say, I hope that you feel better and that you grow out of this toxic, unhappy stage that you're in. And don't take it on. Don't take it personally because it's not about you. Are you a good person? If the answer is yes, then it's not about you. Did you do anything wrong? If the answer is no, then it's not about you. So just look at your behavior, look at what you've done. If you know you've done nothing wrong, then don't let someone else's bad, negative energy make you feel like a piece of shit because you're not. Now you've gotten someone into a conversation. It seems to be going good. I'm going to teach you how to create some intimacy. I'm talking about emotional intimacy, not physical intimacy. And how you can create that with a stranger is simply, very simply, by sharing something personal about yourself. So something I might share, say they're telling me, oh, and this has happened to me a lot because I talk to people all the time in public, but someone, I'll be at the dentist and they'll be like, oh, I've been through so many surgeries this year. The last thing I need is a sore tooth, but here I am. And I say, oh, interesting. You've had a lot of surgeries. So have I. I have an ostomy. Or I had a gentleman one time who introduced himself to me and he became immediately insecure about a, an injury he had on his face that caused one eye to be like slightly out of angle with the other eye. And it was not unattractive and didn't look bad at all, but I could tell that he felt like insecure about it. So he's like, yeah, had to get plastic surgery and the plastic surgery didn't work. And I looked at it and I was like, well, I have an ostomy. I'm like, a permanent poop bag. So, and he was like, I can't believe you just told me that. And I was like, well, I just wanted you to know, like, we all have our things. You seem to feel worried about that. Don't worry about it. I have my thing. I'm not worried about it. And he did try to date me. He's a wonderful guy. He never asked me out. He just said he was going to ask me out. But the funny thing in this situation is that sharing something personal with me opened me up to share something personal with him that created a little bond. And I honestly feel like I'll be friends with this guy. Even if we don't see each other, we will always be friends. We run into each other, probably for the rest of our lives, just for this little bonding moment that we shared. So create intimacy by sharing something personal with someone. It might not have to be about your ostomy or anything like that, but or if they share something that you want to be like honoring of them sharing something personal, then you share something reciprocally personal about yourself. And this is really an amazing way to start having meaningful interactions with people. And when I say talk about or share something personal about yourself, I really want to give that advice to you with a caveat, which is don't disclose something that can be used against you. Don't share something that's so personal that if that person were to share it with other people, it could be used against you to hurt you. For instance, if you're at work and a customer comes in and you share a really meaningful moment, don't tell them something that if they shared it with another coworker would jeopardize your job or make you feel really embarrassed. Share personal things that you would tell anyone, that you don't have horrible feelings tied up in it or insecurities or that won't jeopardize your life or your job or your relationship. So share things that are personal, but not secrets. Don't share your secrets. Keep those close to your heart. Save those for someone that you absolutely 100% know and trust. And even then, I'm careful with secrets. It's not that I have a lot of them, but I do know that from experience of sharing too much and disclosing really personal things that it can be really painful when you don't get the reaction that you're hoping for. So I recommend share something personal, but not too personal. And the last thing I want to tell you is about how to go out and meet people. Well, the hardest thing for me really was I had everything else that I just told you. I've got good posture, and when I go out, at least I try to most of the time, I dress, polished, and I try to make sure I'm groomed nicely, and I look good, and I make eye contact and smile, and I push out my love energy to everyone, and I see the love light inside of them. And honestly, this is just the way I live now because I've been doing it for so many years. And I'm really comfortable sharing some personal things about myself and creating intimacy with people that I don't know by giving them information that they didn't have about me that makes them see me as a human or as someone who has a story to tell. But all of that is meaningless if I don't know how to go out and meet people. And so here's some suggestions for going out to meet people. You could go to a neighborhood pub if you like to have a drink and sit at the bar. I've met lots of interesting people doing that. You could also, if you don't drink, go to a coffee shop. Same thing, sit and drink a coffee. And I've done that too. But you want to make sure you're reading a book, not staring at your phone and scrolling your phone. Most people are not going to approach you, and you're not going to see an opportunity to approach someone else or talk to someone else if you're staring at your phone. So you want to have open body language in these situations and look up a lot and smile at people and do all the other things, but you got to be out in public. You can join clubs. You can go to meetings of people with similar interests. What else have I wrote down a few ideas here. Oh, no, I didn't. You could go to the beach. You can go to a nightclub. You can phone up a couple of friends that you haven't seen in a while and ask them if they'd like to go out for coffee or drinks or go dancing. That's what I did when I was finally ready to get out and meet people and start living my life again after I'd healed and I was single in my relationship. I'd healed from the breaking up of my relationship. And I was like, now it's time. And I wanted to go dancing. So I started calling up a few friends. And after a while, m- a few of the people I talked to fell off or never came, and a few of the people stuck with me. And now I have this small friend group that we go out dancing quite regularly. And I love it. And I meet more people every time I go. So find the thing that you love to do, find somebody to go do it with, or go do it by yourself and just get out and meet people in person. Now, I did try dating apps, and personally, it's not my favorite. It's really a waste of time in a lot of respects because you first you're texting or messaging back and forth, so that takes up a lot of time. Then you meet in person, which is also takes up time. You getting ready, you getting there, you spending the time with them, the money, whatever it is that's involved in this investment of time and money to meet this person, and then 9 times out of 10, or at least 10 times out of 10 for me, there hasn't been a spark. So I put a lot of importance on a spark when I'm dating, and I haven't had a spark with anyone yet. So that is why I'm still single. And I also have to remember, what if I am attracted to someone, but they're not attracted to me? So it's really important to not be attached to what these other people's responses or reactions are going to be to us, but just to meet them. And online dating is so hard because you don't know if you're going to be attracted to the person until you meet them in person. And that's why I say it's a lot of investment of time. And at least in my experience, and many people that I know who are on the dating apps, it's rare to actually find something special in the dating apps. It does happen though. So if you want to try dating apps, I encourage you to. But if you find that they're really making you feel demoralized or kind of sucking the life out of you, there's a lot of very unhappy, sick, emotionally sick people who are on the dating apps, and they will suck the life out of you if you let them. So if you find that you are on the dating apps and it's not that fun and it's not making you feel good, get off them, get out and meet people. So I want you to practice the techniques that I've mentioned in this video. After you finish watching this, you can fix up your appearance, go look in the mirror and see what could I do to improve or make sure I have a polished, attractive appearance. And maybe you already have that completely perfected and you don't need to do anything with your appearance. And that's great. And then I want you to think about your energy. What kind of energy are you putting out when you go out? Are you putting yourself above or below others? Is there a hierarchy? Do you feel equal? Do you feel timid? Do you apologize for existing? You know, what kind of energy are you putting out? And then I want you to be intentional and put out some love energy for a whole day. Do it and see if you like it. And if you do, I hope you remember to keep doing it because for me, it was so empowering that I couldn't stop doing it. Actually have a really funny story. When my children were small, like I have two adult children now and a teenager, but when they were small, my son was in the car seat, in the back seat of the car, and my daughter was sitting in the back seat as well. And I'm driving along and I come to a red light. I'm driving a minivan and I'm at a red light. And all of a sudden I see like a movement in my rearview mirror. And I look at the rearview mirror and I can see my son. He's in the back seat in his car seat. He's looking intently out the window and he's doing this, like he's throwing something. And I said, "Son, what are you doing?" And he said, "I'm throwing love balls at that guy." And he pointed to a man who was sitting in a vehicle beside us at the red light, and he had a very grumpy look on his face. And my son, because I had taught him that we can put our love energy out and actually impact the people around us, and he believed me, hook like just like a child will. He completely believed me. And so he saw this man who looked angry and he thought he'd throw some love balls. Is that not the most adorable story ever? So go out and throw love balls at people. Don't like do this like my son, but just imagine that you're sending love energy to everyone. And it feels good when you do it. And then talk to people, talk to strangers, just make small talk, just make passing comments, and get yourself comfortable with just saying one little thing to a stranger here and there and everywhere. And pretty soon you'll start to get comfortable at starting actual conversations. And you can return to this video and watch my examples again if you need to remind yourself, but I'm sure you can come up with something yourself. Conversation starters are things that invite the person to tell you something more than just yes or no. So definitely make sure that you are trying to engage with people. And if they react or respond in a negative way, let go with love. Just let them keep that. That's their bad energy. It does not belong to you. Push it back, push it back. Say, yes, that's yours. You keep that. I'm still going to feel good. And you keep your high, good energy going. And something I forgot to mention is authenticity. And I don't know why I forgot this because it's so important. Authenticity means being who you really are. And that means being not necessarily what everybody wants you to be. And it means having a personality and not trying to hide who you are or put on an act. People might not know that you're putting on an act, but they can sense it. So even if they don't consciously know that someone is putting on an act, there's an energy that goes with that that is slightly repulsive. But when you are really you, the real you, your personality, your real thoughts, who you are unapologetically, that is magnetic. That just draws people in, but not just any people. It draws the right people in because some people will always be put off by our personalities. Some people don't mesh with our personalities. We don't mesh with their personalities. So if you are authentically yourself, you're actually filtering out those people that aren't going to be the right people for you to know. And the people who are attracted to your true self, your authentic personality, they're the right people for you. Now, that doesn't mean they're necessarily great people. We can have people that really suit our personality, and they could be drug addicts, alcoholics, dealing with whatever they're dealing with. I'm not judging people who are drug addicts or alcoholics, but clearly that's not someone you want to jump into a relationship with or develop this strong friendship with when they're in a crisis and you're trying to uplift your life, right? So you got to be careful. Just because your energy meshes and you're similar and they're attracted to you doesn't mean that they're going to be the right person to have in your life. So be discerning. But if you want to attract people who mesh with your energy, then you want to be extremely authentic. So remember that this is as easy as you make it. The more pressure you put on yourself, the harder it's going to be. It's got to be like, I'm going to go out today. I'm going to look good. I'm going to smile, and I'm going to talk to strangers and just have no fear about it and see it as an experiment. And as you get better and better at it, people will be more and more magnetically drawn to you and attracted to you. So go out, try this, and then come back and write in the comments how it went for you. I want to know. I want to know, did it work? Is this happening for you? What kind of problems might have happened? Where did I go wrong in my advice? Is there something I missed? Do you have some advice that you think would help people with this situation? And please let me know in the comments, and I really appreciate that. And if you want to banish your fears and jumpstart your confidence and come up with a real life intimacy plan to restore intimacy in your life, no matter what physical or emotional challenges you may be facing, please reach out to me to learn more about my coaching services, and we'll see if you are the right fit for my program. I love you.